What is the place and role of the Holy See and the Pope in the context of international conflicts? In this context, it is necessary to refer to the relationship between the laws of war and canon law, and to reflect on whether the Catholic Church is merely a moral entity that can only refer to world peace through teaching, or whether the Holy See, as a separate and independent entity under international law with its own legal system, canon law, can be fully recognized in this context as part of the international legal order and legal relations, making both a passive and active contribution to the law of armed conflict. The Catholic Church has fundamentally influenced the development of ius belli, the law of war, in a moral and spiritual context, while the Holy See is a subject of international humanitarian law and canon law. The Holy See, as a subject of international law, is also the addressee of these principles, as follows from the Lateran Treaty. The Pope, as the head of the Church, has authority over the Church and cooperates in international relations with the Roman Curia. The exercise of sovereignty by the Holy See has not only historical reasons, but also legal, canonical, and international ones. An analysis of canon law provisions allows us to conclude that the principles of the law of war appear in their wording. The general principles of international law, as well as international conventions ratified by the Holy See, are part of canon law, and therefore the law of war cannot be excluded from them. The Holy See, particularly with regard to the provisions of humanitarian law, not only transposes these norms into canon law, but also influences the definition of many issues in this area through its centuries-old tradition and moral authority. It therefore seems that in this case, the appropriate instrument is the diplomatic and humanitarian instrument at the Vatican's disposal, which functions there at the highest level. It should therefore be clearly emphasized that, apart from the power of the Word and the gospel message, the presence of the Holy See, as a full member of international law, contributes to the development of peace, cooperation, disarmament, and the reduction of the destructive power of war, both in the legal context and through the instrument of Vatican diplomacy. The Holy See is undoubtedly currently striving to be present as a mediator, which clearly shows how much importance the Pope attaches to peace in the face of conflict. The activities of Vatican diplomacy, the elevation of the diplomatic school, the humanitarian mission of the Church, and the Pope as the embodiment of the voice of morality constitute the global power and significance of the Holy See in the context of armed conflicts. The Holy See, with the Pope at its head, cannot afford to be passive, as its global authority does not allow it to be indifferent to the fate of the world and humanity.